Hello everyone, this is Kamara with Rooted Futures. How are you? Well, we have a Taurus full moon coming up, and with that full moon is an eclipse, a lunar eclipse. And so that's happening on November 19th. It does depend where you are in the world. It might be the 18th for you, but it's the 19th where I am, Pacific Standard Time. And it's a good time to reevaluate our relationships and where are we going with those relationships. And so that Taurus full moon, Taurus being ruled by Venus having some very powerful influence over our relationships, it's allowing for us to decide what works for us going forward. We're getting ready to go into a new time, a new year, and what relationships feel like they're supportive to us, that they're gonna be a strong part of our movement going forward. So if you haven't done a pick a card, you have 3 choices, and these choices come with an image. So I'm going to show you group number 1. This is group number 1. Hopefully you can see that. And that would be Horus. Group number 2, which is Goddess Gaia. And then we have group number 3, which is Archangel Sandalphon. Is that how you say Sandalphon? I'm always saying his name like 3 different times differently. So take a moment to reflect on these images. You have Horus, Goddess Gaia, and Archangel Sandalphon. 1, 2, and 3. So you may want to take a moment and see what image resonates with you the most. You may want to do some research on Horus, also known as Heru, Goddess Gaia, Gaia, and Archangel Sandalphon, Sandalphon. So take a moment to reflect and we'll get started right on the reading for group number 1, and we'll go in order. Okay, thank you. Hello, group number 1. So you received or you chose Horus, the energy of Horus. And Horus, as I explained in the earlier introductory video, Horus is known for the all-seeing eye. The all-seeing eye of Horus, it's kind of like the shape of an eye, a Kemetic or Egyptian eye that was used by the Kemetics, the ancient Kemetics back in the day, to symbolize having a new perspective, having a zoomed out view, a larger perspective, which is symbolized by the falcon. So the falcon's eyes are able to see from a long distance and ahead of it, and that is the energy that you may be taking into this Taurus full moon, group number 1. Being able to expand your vision. In traditional tarot, and it would be interesting to see if it comes up in a tarot reading later, this could also speak to you being the hanged one, being a person who is at a certain part of their journey where there's a crossroads, where you don't exactly know what direction to take, and there's no real clear, definitive knowledge about what's going to take place on a new journey, but you're there for it. I feel like the hanged one is allowing the full being the 0 in the tarot, meaning you're just open to new experiences. The hanged one is, after some experiences, after coming through many challenges, group number 1, you're at a different crossroads again, a place where you've learned a lot, a place where you've had to learn through the school of hard knocks. Like you've had to take a few on the chin, so to speak, to understand where you are now and who you are now. Some of you might be even coming out of a lot of disappointment around relationships, a lot of hurt that has happened in relationships. And I want to say that you've learned a lot from that, group number one. I feel like you are strong enough now. Many of you maybe thought a year ago or a few months ago you wouldn't be that strong to be able to leave certain situations, certain relationships that didn't make you feel good, that kept you limited, that kept you small. And I feel like many of you have overcome the hesitancy to move out of what no longer works and shift into a new beginning. Sometimes that new beginning, like I said, group number one, it doesn't have a clear road ahead. You just know that you need to go in this direction, right? You need to move away from the old, move away from things that haven't been working for you, group number one. And I think you realize that now. Or you will be coming into that realization when that eclipse happens. It's going to shine a light, quite literally, on the things that have not been working for you. And this could be relationships, it could be your career, it could be something to do with your finances, a particular financial commitment that you had that doesn't work any longer. And for some of you, I think that this comes with a fear of disappointing other people. But when you look at, especially if you look at relationships, when it comes to relationships and disappointing other people, you actually have been the one that's been disappointed. You have been the one that's had to endure a lot of situations where you weren't fully supported. Situations where you thought people should have had your back and they didn't have your back. So group number one, Horus is showing up. That energy is showing up to say, utilize what you're seeing. Believe what you're seeing with your own inner wisdom, with your own inner eye. So let's go to the African goddess, what is this called? The African goddess rising deck. I really love this deck. I got it a month ago, and I haven't really used it in a reading just yet. But let's go with Spirit's opening message for you, group number one, because I think you're going through an important time during this full moon. Many of us are. And to understand that you're not alone, your ancestors are with you, your spirit team is with you. This energy speaks of kind of an ancestral energy, an ancient ancestral energy coming in to show you what you need to see. You have long bubby Susie, and this is speaking to shame. I think when you get long bubby Susie, and let me just like bring it a little bit closer so you could take a look. Again, it's going to come with the realizations of certain relationships that you have in your life, group number one. The dissolution of them, I think that's the word, or the kind of dissolving of these relationships. For some of you, it might be a marriage. It may be a long-term relationship that you are deciding finally does not work for you. After years of trying, some of you dealt with a lot of infidelity and decided to stick by someone. And after years of trying to make this relationship work, you realize that it still comes up short. After years of having friends, maybe family members tell you to leave this person, you are finally deciding, group number one, on your own terms to shift out of the relationship, to transition a relationship, to get a divorce, to separate. And I want to say that I think it comes with some feelings of shame, right? You've tried to make it work. And now for some of you, it's going to feel like, wow, I tried to nurture this relationship. You see how she's kind of holding her breast here in a way of kind of signaling, I tried to nurture something. I tried to give it my heart and my all. I tried to take care of it as with a kind of mothering energy. And it never gave back to me. It didn't give me the fruits that I wanted or I deserved out of this. So, you know, group number one, I think the advice here and what I'm hearing from the guides is that you will feel some sense of shame, but to move past that in service of your greater well-being, in service of knowing that you have a full life ahead of you with many other blessings. And you have to use this moment in time to clear your path, to relieve yourself of things that no longer work, to release things that limit you, that don't contribute to your evolution and growth. And again, I want to say all of us feel a bit of shame when it comes to investing in relationships that just, other people were telling us from the start. I had that happen to me recently. Like, a friend was telling me, like, maybe the beginning of this year, that a group of people that I was associated with weren't really about shit. And I was just kind of like, what are you talking about? And then just now at the end of the year, I'm kind of seeing some of the things that I should have saw, a ways back. And, I had to deal with that certain sense of shame of not being able to see it myself, but it was okay. Like, I ended up seeing it myself, and I was able to circle back with that person and say, you know what, I actually am seeing what you're talking about. And it took me a while, but they were there for me. They didn't make me feel like I needed to crawl into a cave. They were just like, yeah, you needed to see it on your own. And that's, we got the endurance here of the turtle, right? Group number 1, it says on my belief of myself to see any task through is firm. And when the situation is difficult, I commit to finishing it. So I think this endurance that we're kind of running across group number 1, it speaks to the hard work that you've been doing to know yourself, to understand yourself. You've been doing a lot of hard work on your self-esteem, your confidence. And you've been working, for some of you, you've been working on patterns of codependency. These patterns make you think that you're not going to ever have any friends if you give up the ones you have now, or you're not going to have a relationship again if you give up the one you have now. And you're starting to realize that those are just patterns of lack, that there are billions of people in the world who want connection with you, who want healthy connection with you, and that's possible. So that endurance means that you have been taking the road of believing in yourself, of knowing that you deserve and you're worthy of the very best, group number 1. And I feel like that is a way in which I'm so proud of you, because it's like you're doing this work, and this full moon is just illuminating those final things in your life. They may be the most difficult relationships to release and let go of, but I sense for many of you, group number 1, you're ready to do this. You're ready to move forward without the weight and the challenges and the chaos of those relationships. So let's get into the tarot, because group number 1, you're such a strong person. I really sense this about you, that a lot of what you've been doing lately is clearing house. Some of you, I sense, have striked out on new career paths or decided to get new jobs. Some of you actually have been cleaning house with friendships, and maybe it's just these last bits of change that you're going through that need to happen. 6 of Wands. Exactly. I want to show it a little bit closer too. Just exactly, like, you were wounded in some of this, and you came out okay. You came out fighting. You came out as a warrior in all of this. And those scars, a favorite writer of mine, Dr. Clarissa Estes Picoles, she says, she wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves. She said that there's a scar clan, and they are the heart. They operate through their heart, but their heart has been scarred. And the scar is to remind us that we can heal. We can take those moments where we were disappointed and turn them into a beautiful lesson about how to love even stronger going forward. And I feel that is you, group number one. You've got this Ace of Wands. And this Ace of Wands is saying it's time to take action on a new day. This eclipse is showing you that you are now at the portal. You're at this beautiful, powerful portal where you can step through to the other side, to a new journey, to a new path. And in order to do that, do we take things with us that will just weigh us down? We don't. We leave behind those things that we no longer need. And that can be people, relationships, it can be jobs, it could be certain commitments that we've had that just no longer fit with where we're going, group number one. So that Ace of Wands, it kind of showed up as maybe it was reverse, maybe it was upright. The way that I read reverses is not necessarily the complete opposite. It's just saying to focus more on taking that action. Now is your time. Spirit is supporting you in making that final decision in your best benefit, group number one. So let's see what else there is that the tarot has to share for you. I think that some of you are going to release a toxic King of Wands. If we see that person here, this is someone who, they're very impulsive. This is someone who doesn't think through their actions or even sometimes what they're saying. They could be very hurtful at times. And I think for some of you, you're actually willing to let go of this King of Wands, who's kind of upside down, incomplete, immature in many ways. And you're starting to see with this moon in reverse that there was a lot of things that were hidden in this relationship from you. If this is with this King of Wands, if this is an actual like energy here, there was a lot that was hidden in that relationship that you're going to see with this eclipse becomes revealed to you, because you have this moon here and there's a lot that you have been shielded from when it comes to this energy. And I get a sense that it was your ancestors, your spirit team, that was shielding you from knowing the complete truth of just this person. I get that this person's very toxic. They've done a lot of things that have really tried to hold you back in a sense. They may have even like worked with another energy. You have this Knight of Pentacles. This is someone coming in and trying to confuse you with the issue. I kind of get a sense that this person kind of tag team with a friend, so-called friend, to kind of collaborate stories like, oh, I was hanging out with this person knows this person wasn't hanging out with this person. So there's just a lot of like stuff that was hidden from you, group number one, that's going to come to light about these two people and how they collaborated with each other to keep secrets, to keep things from you that weren't in your best interest, to gaslight you, really, to make it seem like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And look, just listen to my friend here. This friend knows the truth. I was out with them all night or whatever, you know? And I think deep down, group number one, you know the truth. And this full moon is just allowing you the opportunity to trust yourself, to really get right into, you've got this devil here, you've got the devil card. You're going to break out of the bondage of this relationship once and for all and choose yourself. You quite literally are breaking out of the bondage of this relationship with the devil in reverse. You're choosing yourself, group number one. And I'm so proud of you because I think you deserve more. Let's choose any more cards on here, any additional messages for group number one. Because I think that you've done so much work on yourself, group number one, that this is just an organic, natural ending of whatever this situation is, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a business partner or colleague. This card's speaking to me. Yeah, Five of Cups. It's like you are deciding to choose yourself after so much strife. You see this passageway here. I can bring it closer to. This passageway is one that you're choosing yourself. You're choosing to have relationships in your life that you can trust, people in your life that you can trust, that you can rely on. Because this person has presented themselves in a magician kind of quality. This is at the bottom of the deck. You know, changing up, shifting, kind of wearing masks. You're never sure who they are. And that energy has really put you in a place of distrust. And I think that you understand now that in order to step into the Empress energy, which is here reversed, in order to make this upright and be your full, powerful self, you need to understand and accept exactly who you're looking at, group number one. Whether this is a person or a situation, a group of people. Accept what you're seeing as the truth. Trust yourself. Trust the all-seeing eye. Let's go back to Horus here. Trust the all-seeing eye of Horus. That's what this whole thing is about for this Taurus full moon. Trusting the all-seeing eye is showing you your inner wisdom, your divine inner intelligence is showing you what you need to see, group number one. So I hope that you heed your own wisdom here, group number one, because you know exactly what you're seeing and what you're feeling. Take care. And if you resonate with this reading, please like and subscribe. There will be more readings. Take care. Peace. Hey, group number two, how are you? You chose the goddess Gaia, which also says 31. Let me show it to you. So yeah, goddess Gaia is the Earth Mother. So in this deck, it's called The Angels Are Among Us. I really love this deck. It's a brand new deck to me. What it's saying here about goddess Gaia, group number two, is that during this Taurus full moon and an eclipse, you are specifically going to be focusing on where are you receiving that goddess energy, that nurturing, that feeling of safety, feelings of feeling secure in your relationships. What are those relationships that you feel secure in? What are you feeling a sense of safety in relationships, or are you feeling like you have to live on the surface of your relationships? You know, do you feel like you need to hide some aspects of yourself or limit other parts of yourself? And so this Taurus full moon, you're going to have a desire to be all of who you are in your glory, in your abundance, in exactly who you are as a person. And you're going to start to notice those situations, environments where you can't be yourself. Like there is a limit to how much you can share on yourself. And you're going to notice those other relationships where you're fully allowed to blossom, where people accept you for who you are. They accept your range of emotions and moods. And it doesn't mean that it's a deal breaker if you all have an argument, or it's not a deal breaker if you cry. Like there's people in your life who can hold all of who you are, group number two. And then you're going to start to notice those situations that do not hold who you are as a whole person. It's a very important time to understand this, group number two, because this eclipse to me, we've had many astrological portals opening up this year, 2021, and I believe this eclipse is another portal, another doorway for you to enter into living your authentic life. And so many of us are getting this message in a few different ways. Like, how can I live the life that nurtures and holds and helps me heal myself? I can't be in environments where I'm not fully allowed to be who I am and heal. Like the two don't go together. So you need environments where you can be your total and complete self. And I really get from you, group number 2, that you understand this. Let's go to Spirit's opening message here using the African Goddess Rising cards. So you understand this, group number 2, that there's a sense of just needing to be whole and authentic. Authentically who you are. That's not too much to ask for. That's what I'm hearing Spirit say. It is not too much for you to ask for people to accept you on the whole basis. On the whole basis. Being wholly who you are. Holy being Holy, but also Wholy. Like that holiness. Like all of who you are. The sacredness of who you are, group number 2. I really feel like some of you are dropping into that understanding. And here we have the 7 sisters, creativity. I get it now, group number 2. Many of you are creative. Many of you have dreams of developing your creativity even more. Whether I get that some of you are an artist. I get that some of you might be a writer. Maybe some of you even just craft things. Not just, but you craft things. Let me show you the card here of the 7 sisters. You know what's interesting about the 7 sisters card? 7 sisters story is that in New Orleans, the 7 sisters existed. It was said that they might be related, but they all assumed one identity. There was something about them assuming this one identity, where when people came to them for any kind of spiritual work, they weren't sure if they were how to individuate these 7 sisters. It was impossible to tell them apart. You didn't know who you were exactly dealing with. And I think that that had to do with protection. Like that's how they protected themselves. Like people couldn't just single them out. They had power together as 7 sisters. And it was the creativity that was involved in how to navigate their life so that they could do the work that they wanted to do, be themselves, but also protect themselves. And so this is very interesting for you, group number 2, because I feel like many of you have a creative, your purpose is directly connected to the creative. And in the things that you create, some of you are spiritualists, some of you do spiritual work for other people. That could be tarot reading, that could be mediumship, that could be all kinds of things, psychic readings. Some of you might do candle work for people. Some of you might do a number of things for people, but I get a sense that this is not all shared with everyone in your life, group number 2. That there's aspects of yourself that you feel like you should keep, maybe from family members who are Christian or family members who have a different religion that doesn't necessarily understand or believe in psychic abilities or the use of magic. And so I think that some of you may even have friendship groups that don't really fully understand these new abilities that have come forward for you, these new services that you're either getting ready to offer people or you are offering those, number 2. For others of you, I got a sense that someone's a writer. This is very specific, but someone's a writer. They've been they've been really inspired lately. You've been writing things that you want to put out there, but you don't have anyone to just run it by someone. You're afraid, like in your friend group or in your circle, you're not sure if you could share your writings and have your writing be received. And I think for some of you, you're taking a look at that. Like, what kind of friends do I have that I can't share my creativities or my latest work? Some of you are painters. You know, what kind of friends do I have that don't support this aspect of who I am that's so important? I feel like I have to drop into different identities to maintain these relationships, and I can't be my whole self. Do you see that, group number 2? It's very important that you drop into that curiosity. That's what Spirit's telling me, that you need to be more curious about why these friendships can't hold all of who you are. This is a theme with this Taurus full moon and the eclipse. Being able to be held in your full self. Being able to be whole and be accepted as in who you are. You may have people in your life who have different religious or spiritual views, but why can't they, just based on your relationship, accept who you are and what you do in this life? Why can't they accept your purpose? Or maybe they do accept your purpose. I don't want to go fully on the negative here. Some of them may accept you as you are in your full purpose, and you see that and you want more of that. That's what feeds you. That's what's inspiring you versus the other. Your animal guide, Intuit. This is going to be important for you, group number 2, because in order to, for some of you, this feels like an identity that could have you discriminated against. Maybe some of you feel like it's finally time for you to come out, maybe around your sexual orientation. You want to come out to everyone in your life, and you understand that for some of you in certain circles this may not be safe. And I think that you're trying to intuit, where is it that I can share my gifts, share who I am, share my creativity, how I live my life, how I navigate life. Where can I do this? Here is the Intuit card, group number 2. And so what it's saying here is that my feelings are important part of my decision making. So my feelings are an important part of my decision making. My inner voice deserves to be heard and valued with the same weight as my conscious thoughts. Life is not only cognitive, group number 2. I know you understand that we have a brain in our head, but we also have a brain in our stomach called the gut. And so many of us make decisions from our gut. Some of us make decisions from our brain, but the two hold the same weight. They can provide us with the same kind of accurate information if we are able to trust that. So group number 2, there's that 7 sisters again. It's kind of weighing this story of, do I just merge with my environment and those around me and not seek to be different in my gifts and have everybody just assume that I'm a part of something without any individuality? Or do I lean into this creativity? Do I nurture the whole of who I am, and I step forward as all of who I am? Let's go to the tarot cards. I sense in you, group number 2, a very strong spirit. A person that's really had to do a lot of work up to this point to know themselves, to be proud of who they are. You didn't always feel that way, group number 2. Or maybe you're coming into feeling that way. That to hide who you are, it's a disservice to your spirit and to your soul. And so, group number 2, I think the goddess Gaia wants you to love and nurture yourself as you would a tiny baby. No one would sit there and tell a tiny baby that you're nothing, you're not good enough, that you're not worthy. No one would ever think of telling a tiny baby in its infancy, in its newness, in its innocence, that it doesn't measure up. That would be kind of really harmful kind of person, right? And so why is it that we accept that inner critic's voice in ourselves? Why is it that we find it acceptable to hear that and tell that to parts of ourselves, that we're not good enough, that we'll never make it, or, whatever this like negative core belief is? There's something about this inner critic that needs to be corrected, that you need to bring forward the beautiful voices of love and nurturing and safety. You need to bring that voice exists within you too, and you need to bring it forward, group number 2. That's what Goddess Gaia is saying here. Because look, you are the Empress, and the Empress knows how to nurture herself. Goddess Gaia is also an Empress, so you have double Empress energy here, group number 2. Let me just bring it up so that you can see. You have double Empress energy here. Goddess Gaia and the Empress in the tarot. For some of you, this is really a time for you to drop into all the abundance of who you are. You're such an abundant being. I believe that many of you, when you emerge out of this space of limitation, you're gonna find so much prosperity, so many gifts are waiting for you, so many opportunities waiting for you. It's like you will literally be pregnant with ideas that are going to bring you money, ideas that are going to make you feel financially secure, because you've stopped limiting yourself. You've stopped playing small. You've decided to step into the fullness of who you are. You've used the earth's energy. Earth energy is abundant. You plant a seed in the soil and it sprouts, it grows, it turns into a huge 8-foot tree. Like, this is the earth energy is energy of material, of abundance. So group number 2, I see that with these moves of shifting out of limitation, shifting out of lack, during this Taurus eclipse, you are literally going to usher in a new material success for yourself. It could be money. It could be a new career opportunity. It could be a lot. What happens here, group number 2, is you have this 5 of Swords. And what you've got to understand is that it's, in many ways, it's mind over matter. In many ways, this is mind over matter. Sometimes, in order to stop the inner critic, you have to visualize a stop sign. Literally, as the inner critic is starting to attack you, you throw up a visual stop sign. I will not take this voice from you anymore. I will not take these cruel words from you anymore. And to understand that when you form that relationship with your inner critic, it can't bring any more emotional harm and anxiety towards you anymore. This is the Knight of Cups in reverse. It's not going to be able to keep you in emotional bondage. It's not going to be able to, you've got the 6 of Wands here in reverse. It's not going to be able to just keep the wounds open, keep the wounds, like, keep wounding you, basically. When you drop into Empress energy, group number 2, it's as if you understand the spell that we put on ourselves when we talk negatively about ourselves, when we think negatively about ourselves. It's spell work. It's spell casting against ourselves. We don't want to do that. We want to reverse all spells, even the spells we've cast upon ourselves, thinking that, you know, we don't have a opportunity for us, that things can't change in our lives. We have to switch those thoughts around. We have to shift it. And literally, I got these in reverse and I'm shifting it because Spirit is telling me here that you have to, Spirit, group number 2, Spirit wants you to reconfigure your thoughts. Bring in new perspectives, new ways of thinking. You've got that Page of Swords. It's coming towards you. That people, don't allow people to gaslight you, people to think negatively about things that you're doing. You may have to even decide who to share things with. You have to understand that you are the Queen of Pentacles here. And the Queen of Pentacles is a very interesting position, group number 2, because you understand that wealth, abundance, prosperity, it's not built overnight. For other people around you, it can feel like something happened overnight. When people say, oh, it's the overnight success, it's not really true, because you understand, the Queen of Pentacles understands that that kind of success took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of disappointment sometimes. It took a lot of getting over certain challenges it took a lot of no's to get to a yes. And so the Queen of Pentacles doesn't take for granted, this energy does not take for granted any kind of success. They know the hard work that was involved. They know all of the challenges that were involved, and they knew what it took to turn everything around. It took a lot of in this case, with all these swords, it's going to take a lot of your own mental energy to turn this around. Group number 2. I see that. And some of you may be in therapy. Some of you you might have gotten a coach. Whatever it was, you decided, maybe you just read some self-help books to help you turn your internal dialogue around. Something that maybe meditation. There's another number of different tools that Spirit is kind of throwing out at me. Meditation, artwork, like it's definitely could be your artwork. It could be your writing, group number 2. Whoever of you are journaling, writing, creating, that creativity brought you out of a mental state, group number 2, of the inner critic. Like the inner critic was dissolved, or at least that inner critic softened, changed its tone, became a friend of yours. Like you literally transmuted that inner critic voice to a helper, to a supporter. You are very powerful, group number 2. That Empress and Gaia energy is not lost. It's not lost on me. You took a lot of work to get that to succeed in that energy. And here you go. Because of that, you are now a magician. You are now able to understand the alchemy of life. And that in this Taurus full moon, you moving into the portal of this eclipse, you understand your own inner magic. And you really just don't have time to be in environments that can't utilize your magic, that can't recognize your magic as a beautiful resource, as a powerful resource. So group number 2, I'm very happy for you, because it just feels like we just followed a really beautiful story from you having to do the work to understand what you deserve and that you're worthy of, and your creativity and how you want to navigate this life and locate yourself, to being this beautiful, beautiful Gaia, this beautiful Empress, and utilizing that energy for yourself and understanding who you are, group number 2. So very beautiful. Thank you for joining me here. If you resonate with this reading, please like the video. Please subscribe. This is a new channel. I'll be making more videos. I got new equipment, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm happy that you've joined me here and taken time to listen to this reading. Take care. Group number 3, how are you? You chose Archangel Sandalphon. So why don't you take a look here? This is Archangel Sandalphon. Hopefully you can see that. So Archangel Sandalphon, what is this archangel about, in case some of you have not worked with archangels before? This particular archangel is associated with answered prayers. So for you, group number 3, there's something about this time right now where I got a sense from the ancestors that you you did a prayer some time ago. It could have been a few months ago. It could have been at the last eclipse. And that prayer is now being answered. Some of you prayed for healthy relationships. Some of you prayed for relationships that really included love, that included understanding. I get a sense that many of you were in relationships where you felt misunderstood quite often. And some of you just wanted to find your community. You wanted to find your tribe of people. And what I want to say here, group number 3, is that Archangel Sandalphon is showing up for you right now. This Archangel is showing up as a sign that your prayers are being answered. Your prayers have been answered. And for some of you, this Taurus full moon, this eclipse, is going to illuminate the doorway to healthy relationships for you. It's going to illuminate the path for you to walk upon, where you're going to meet those people that you connect with. You're going to meet people who respect you, who find you uniquely beautiful and powerful and want to know you. They want to be in relationship with you. And what's interesting about this Archangel Sandalphon, besides the number 13, which I feel like is a really powerful number for you all to pay attention to, is music. So Archangel Sandalphon is associated with music. And so for group number 3, I think some of you may hear a song. Some of you may start to hear a song that you don't know why, but it's on your mind all the time. Pay attention to the lyrics. There's something about that song that's going to lead you energetically towards your tribe, group number 3. And for some of you, I also got that singing, using your voice, singing music may provide some healing for you around speaking your truth in relationships, being able to be your authentic self. So there's something here where Archangel Sandalphon is going to help you connect with who you are in relationships and help you feel grounded in that, group number 3. So let's go to Spirit's opening message for you, group number 3, because I feel like it's so important for you to get this support right now and this full moon and eclipse is so important for you, group number 3. It's really important that you take advantage of this energy. That's what Spirit is saying to me. Take advantage of this energy. Take advantage, walk through the doorway. If you imagine this eclipse presenting us with a portal, walk through the doorway, walk through the portal, take advantage of a new life. Take advantage of being able to create the life and the relationships that you desire. So let's see what Spirit's opening message is for you, group number 3. We've got Nana Bukalu, and it says seasons. I think what's important here, group number 3, to understand, and let me just show you Nana Bukalu. Nana Bukalu is number 1 in this African Goddess Rising deck. I really love this deck. It's a new deck that I have. So this goddess, or I want to say this deity, Nana Bukalu, is here to remind you, group number 3, that in many ways our lives are cyclical. Our lives have cycles attached to them. And in many ways, our relationships hold seasons. So you'll hear the old saying, like sometimes people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a reason. And so I think you're being reminded here, group number 3, that certain relationships had their season for you. Certain relationships just ran their course. And it has nothing to do or reflect on you as a person. It's just that you're in a new growth cycle. Number one is a new growth cycle. Number one is teaching you that you are ready to begin again, a brand new cycle, a new time for you to reap the rewards of your growth, reap the rewards of everything that you've learned. And so that Archangel Sandalphon is really reminding you with Nana Bukalu that this is a new time for you. And that one in traditional tarot is the Fool. Again, you're setting off on a new journey. You don't know what it's going to look like, but guaranteed you will take advantage of the lessons that you've learned about your past relationships. Many of you have healed. You understand what codependency is. You understand what it's like to not be in relationship with, with people who are loyal. You miss that about life. You want to feel safe and secure in your relationships. And I think this is coming up as a theme with all three groups: safety, security, feeling like people have your back. And for you, group number 3, you are in motion towards that. You are taking this eclipse energy and moving to the next level. It's very important for you to understand where you're located in this right now, group number 3. And it's a powerful place to be because it signals that you've done so much healing work and that you have spent some time developing your own self-worth, your own confidence. And it shows here because Archangel Sandalphon wouldn't have showed up for you as an answered prayer unless you were doing the work that needed to be done. So congratulations. It's very important, this work that you've been doing. And this card is the one that comes through. Humble. Let me show it to you. It's kind of interesting, group number 3, this humble card comes forward. It says here, I accept praise when it's warranted and gracious and in an inclusive manner. I do not succeed without the help of others. I'm happy to share the rewards of hard work. So group number 3, there's a way in which I think also your prayers are being answered because you are humble. You have done the work, but you've done it quietly. You've done it in a way in which you have been, how do you say, you've been in many ways, you all have walked powerfully and quietly towards your goal. You didn't end relationships with a lot of drama, group number 3. In fact, many of you probably really praised people when you were ending relationships with them. I know it sounds weird, but it felt like I could see you all sending an email and just saying, this is great. I've really loved being in relationship with you. I've learned so much and I'm about to move forward in my life in a different way. And I get like some of you might have done that with a work situation or a professional project. You're just like, I'm ready to move on. And in some of your healthy, maybe in relationships that weren't that healthy, things that needed to end, you were very gracious, group number 3, with how you ended things. And that isn't lost on spirit. Spirit is like, I really love the way you move. That's what I'm hearing from spirit right now. Like, I love the way you move, even when you don't agree with people, even when you feel like it's time for you to cut your losses and move forward. You don't do it in chaos. You don't do it in a lot of drama. You just kind of, in a grounded way, said, I don't think this is for me. And Spirit has taken notice of that. Spirit has sent you the guides now because you showed up as so like heart-centered, group number 3, so worthy. And I think that is, it just says a lot about your character, that you didn't have to like put people down. You didn't have to tell people off. Even though, there might've been times where you really wanted to do that. It's kind of like in the end, you noticed, I don't have to do all that. I can end this on a note that feels peaceful for me. I can end this on a note that just feels like because I think group number 3, you all recognize that you can learn something from every situation, even the situations that were painful, even the situations that were challenging. You learn something, and it shows the emotional maturity involved to understand that. So group number 3, it feels like a very positive time for you, this eclipse. It's culminating everything that you've learned, and you're set to move forward. Let's see what the tarot has to say. This is a beautiful reading, because I just feel like with all the other groups, everyone has done their work, but you, group number 3, have really done the work. So we have the 4 of Cups here that is coming in reverse. And what I would say here is that you're not so much relying on people to give you the emotional support anymore. Even though that's always nice, I think what's happening here, group number 3, is that you're finally able to give your own self the emotional support that you need. You're finally able to offer that to yourself. You're able to offer yourself the emotional grounding that you need. You're not in a place of like feeling like you need other people to validate you. You're not in a place where you feel like you can't be alone. Like, you can be alone on this journey. For parts of this journey, you're committed to being on the journey. You're not committed to having to do it with someone else or having to find your tribe. And I think in spirit seeing that, you're going to be granted all that. You're going to be granted the companionship. You're going to be granted the friendship and the collaborators. You know, even for some of you professionally, this might feel like, wow, I'm setting out on my own. I don't know how I'm going to do this all on my own. And I just want you to know, group number 3, it's not going to be on your own. You're being blessed with new collaborators, new business partners. It's all coming forward because of your grace. And grace is an important quality that spirit looks for when it blesses us. And spirit sent its archangel, because all the other groups did not have an archangel. You're the only group that had an archangel. So you were sent special help to move forward, because you're in that place of like guidance. You don't have to do this on your own. There was, for some of you, a sense of a relationship that had to end. This Knight of Wands is in reverse. This is someone who wasn't as emotionally mature, group number 3, whether it was a business partner or a friend or a lover or a partner. This person just didn't have the ability to support you the way that you needed the support. You have the 7 of Wands here too. I think what you were looking for, group number 3, you started to recognize this person just didn't have all the tools available to make that happen. And rather than just keep trying to, like, this person was always trying to just make decisions quickly, not really trying to sit through and think about things and see them through. And that just wasn't your energy, group number 3. And for some of you, you felt like it cost you a lot to have things not be in order. There's something that's saying like there was a lot of things that were kind of out of order with this person. If it was a business partner, there was a lot of shortcuts they used, things that they just didn't follow up on, and it just didn't make you feel that great. Yeah, this 8 of Cups is showing right now, group number 3, that you made the decision, or you will be making the decision, because it kind of came as a slightly reverse, or it could be upright. You're making the decision now to move on. And I think it's okay, group number 3, because when the 8 of Cups comes up for me, it's a card of saying, hey, you put your best effort into this. Like, you really tried to meet with the person, you tried to talk to them, you tried to resolve things. And whatever the relationships were, you really did put in the effort to try to reconcile things, to try to course correct some of the relationships. And when Eight of Cups comes along, it says, you know what, your cups are upright. Like, you did the due diligence, and it's okay to leave that situation. It wasn't like you didn't put work into trying to save the relationship. And I think here we go. You've got this Queen of Swords. And I think that's your energy right now, group number 3. Your energy is, listen, my head is above the clouds. Like in a traditional tarot, you'll see the Queen of Swords sitting on this throne, and the position of this energy is sitting above the clouds. And in this card, it's like someone who has their armor on, but the armor is not like, it's more of a meshy armor. So that means like there's still access to their emotions, but it's also like they wear the armor to know that they are protected in it and guided in a particular way. And that they use their logic, they use their mind, they use common sense to move forward in life. And so that Queen of Swords energy is giving you more of a common sense, no nonsense kind of way of looking at relationships in this new time, group number 3. So you're not kind of being blinded by compliments or money or anything like that. You're seeing things as they truly are, group number 3. And maybe it's sometimes, I feel like for some of you, it's not your natural way of doing things. So in the beginning, it felt a little bit sobering to like have to see things so factual. But in the end, you understand the necessary moves that you had to make. You know, like it's necessary sometimes to see things as they are, not in the future, not in the past, but at the present moment. Potential is just that. It's nothing. Potential is nothing if it's not acted on. And I think that is something that you all started to understand, group number 3, that people can be potentially this or that, but if they're not really taking action, if they are not really course correcting themselves, then the potential just becomes unrealized. And that was like a hard fact for some of you. Sometimes some of you went through a really low period, understanding that you couldn't bring everyone with you. You're not a savior. You're not there to like drag people along this path. And the path that the new doorway, I keep seeing a doorway for you, group number 3, the doorway that you're entering, it's sacred. It's a new step. Behind that doorway or on the other side of that doorway is an even greater purpose than the one that you were serving now, group number 3. So let's see if there's any other messages for you. I feel like you're clear at this time, group number 3. And it's like a very powerful clarity that you're walking into this new time with. Let's see if there's any other messages for you. Maybe there won't be, because this feels somewhat complete. 2 of Swords. So I would just say, group number 3, that if there's a final decision that needs to be made in these next like 24 to 48 hours of this eclipse energy, do that in service of yourself. At the bottom of the deck is the Emperor. So if there is one final relationship that feels like it's not in alignment with where you're going, this upside down Emperor energy, 2 of Swords is just pointing for you to choose yourself in this situation. And to understand that this Emperor may appear to be a powerful person, very influential, but when they're upside down, their power is not as strong as you think. They don't have a lot of integrity behind them, and I think other people will see that. So I wouldn't worry about this person messing with your reputation in a long-term way. They have their own issues. Upside down Emperor has a lot of things going on that are probably negative. So there you go, group number 3. I really am excited for you because, again, I think you're going to choose yourself in this situation. You're going to show up for yourself and pay attention to the sounds. You know, maybe you want to do a sound bath on the eclipse. Maybe you want to listen to some music that really inspires you. Maybe you just want to drop into the knowledge that your prayers are being answered. Your prayers are being answered, group number 3. So I hope this helps. If you like this reading, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this brand new channel. I'll be doing more readings. I got some new equipment, so I'm really excited to get into these readings a little bit more. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for following. Take care. Peace.